You just gotta get it, but it's an insulin needle.
Yeah.
But the thing is like you gotta find different areas that you're gonna inject because if you keep injecting on the same area, it gets sore.
Irritated. Well, it's the same thing with like the patch. The patch I put right here.
Right.
I have to continue to switch it.
Right. So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's the same concept.
Yeah.
I'm also on glutathione, which is for like a liver detox and also for your skin.
Okay.
And then I'm on tesamorelin, which is it helps you with your human growth hormone.
Okay.
So human growth is like your HGH, so that helps with like muscle mass, like gaining muscle or retaining muscle. Tesamorelin actually helps you reduce your visceral fat, so your belly fat.
How old are you?
So,
How old are you?
I just turned 46.
Okay, so I only like taking.
You're not supposed to ask
people
that.
are my age, like us of your age, because I'm like, if you're younger than me, like I don't
Girl,
like to
bye.
hear it because
Right.
you're younger. So if it's, I always ask that. I hope you don't mind me asking.
No, it's fine.
Eric.
Better you than me.
Because it's always. I think it's always helpful when it's someone that, we're going through the same stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Our body's going through the same stuff. So it's, I don't know. I just feel like everybody my age is actually in that same predicament.
Yeah. So tesamorelin gets rid of the visceral fat. The only side effect to that I had was it makes you a little nauseous. You have to take it at night before you go to bed because that's when you produce the most growth hormone. You produce your growth hormone when you're sleeping, when you're at rest. So I have a client who's a bodybuilder and he's on tesamorelin. Same thing happened to him. Let's get started.
We're ready. We're rocking.
Oh, we're ready.
No, that's fine. Keep on talking.
Oh, okay.
Let's start conversation.
He had the same side effect where he was getting nauseous at night. So then what he does is he takes his in the morning on an empty stomach fasted, and he didn't have that issue. So I switched and I started taking mine in the morning, and now I don't have that issue. I don't have the nausea. But the first week that I took it, I was like, oh, like you know how you eat something bad and it's stuck in your stomach? Like I was tossing and turning at night, like, oh my God, I feel like I gotta throw up. I just want it out. And then when he brought it to my attention, I was like, you know what? I do have that. I had the same thing, so I switched it.
And right now, I'm a little nauseous. I get a little nauseous with the estrogen too.
Okay.
So the hormone, even with birth control, I used to get really sick.
Okay.
So I'm hoping I get a little better, but I feel a little.
Well, you know what? We're trying to. This is the year where we really want to be in tune with our body and really learn.
Right.
And try different things so we can, try to maximize longevity and just our energy. Right. So I still haven't since last time we spoke. I met with. We're live already, but we're gonna.
Oh, you are.
Yeah, don't worry.
Is this how you want it though?
Yeah, because that's not. Unless you can flip it. Unless you can flip it over there, I don't know if you can.
I don't know. I never seen
last time we spoke, I spoke to Vinny. I've actually sent several people already to Vinny, and they've already paid for it.
Yeah.
But it's like on back order. I still haven't got mine.
Which ones?
The GLP-3s, the peptides.
Which one?
Retta.
Retta is on back.
Retta, that's a fat burning one.
Retta is because that one is the one that works best out of all of them.
Yeah.
Because that one allows you to hold your muscle mass and burn fat. The other ones, Ozempic, Wegovy,
they burn muscle. They let go of muscle mass.
40% of what you're using.
Yeah, so we're gonna get rocking. But this is exactly.
Introduce ourselves.
But this is exactly what it's about. It's about being organic and having a conversation. Because sometimes when things scripted, right. But so we can get started, guys. My name is Eric Estevez, and we're here live with Eric and friends. And today we have a very special guest, and we were just chatting in the back, and so much great information, right? And I know I focus in real estate, Tina, and I'll introduce you in a second. I would love for you to tell people a little bit about yourself and your business, but we really focus on our Misogi this year, and we can talk about that later, is health and wellness. What is making money if you're not healthy? What's the point of it? Right. So you put me onto some things, and it's affecting my life for the positive, and I want to make sure that I share that with you. But I'm here with the great Tina Rivera, aka the StretchBoss. We're here in her location in Rutherford, and we'll make sure that we put the address on here and her website so you guys can book a consultation with her. Tina, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Okay. So my name is Tina, aka the StretchBoss. I specialize in rehab and recovery. Rehabbing meaning physical therapy, any injuries that you might have or you're suffering from, and then recovery is just like stretch therapy, just helping you recover faster overall from workouts, life, stress. I have a license in physical therapy, and then I also have a bunch of certifications: Thai stretching, myofascial stretching, cupping, you name it, I have it. So I have an office here in Rutherford, and you became one of my clients.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and right. Not only did she put me on to certain things about the health industry, I'm putting my friends on,
yeah,
right? So the things that we were just talking about a little with my wife about peptides and hormone replacement, like she was just spitting it out, like she knows all this stuff, which is great. So this is gonna be as much as a educational course for me, then also than it is for my wife. We're gonna learn it right on the spot.
She came in asking questions already, which is great. Which is great. Yeah.
And so do you? Let me ask you this, right? So you talked about physical therapy and whatnot. A lot of people think that it's like athletes
Right.
that and I'm sure you have a lot of athlete clients, but is it just athletes that you treat, or are you treating?
No, I treat everyone, general population. Your weekend warrior, and then your person who has a sedentary lifestyle. They sit at a desk all day. So I treat old people, young people,
Yeah.
athletes. I treat celebrities. I treat a bunch of. It varies, so it's across the board. Because at some point in time, one of us or most of us will get injured, or you're suffering from some type of injury. So it's across the board. It doesn't discriminate.
And what I like about you is, right, like so you go to like a physical therapist and a chiropractor or whatever, and they just knock it. They just do what they do, but you actually educate. You educated me about the peptides, and I've seen some of your lives where you're talking about mental health, and you're talking about so many different things. So you can actually educate people about it, so they can take this education and improve the quality of their life moving forward.
Right.
Right. Because one of the things I realize is, like, I make a listen. It's funny because your name, is a StretchBoss, and I have a running joke that I haven't been able to wash my back in years because I couldn't touch my back, right? So it's mobility and stretching is so important.
Yes, very important. So the one thing I try to educate people on, because people, I feel like, and I was talking about this before you got here, they don't look at mobility as important until they get older, until you realize that you can't get out of the bed without stretching, or it hurts, or you can't sit on your toilet properly without having back pain, or you can't get up out of your chair or your couch. And so the one thing we lose as we get older is our mobility. So it's very important. Stretching is great. Mobility, first of all, mobility and stretching is two different things. So stretching is to be flexible, meaning you could do a split, you could kick your leg up in the air and touch your head. But to be mobile means you're flexible, but you can also control that flexibility. So it's flexibility and strength at the same time. So that's something that we all need to have as we get older. And I work part-time at a rehab clinic, which the general demographic of the patients that come there are elderly, and the one thing they suffer from is lack of mobility and weakness, strength. So it's a constant reminder for me to take care of my body, and then I just try to educate other people, because I see it. I get people who are 60 and they look like they're 7, 8. They coming in with canes. They're coming in with all these other health issues that they have because they never took the time out to take care of their body, and now they're just paying for it.
I agree. I think that the more educated you get on this, right, and the more you start taking care of your body. And listen, I'm still not in the best of shape. I'm focusing on my wellness. I'm on testosterone replacement therapy. I'm waiting to get the Rivera GLP-3s. I'm trying to help science, right, expedite, right, my recovery to really leading a healthy life for the rest of my life, right? We work so hard, but what is it if you can't, I guess, what's the right word? If you can't enjoy the fruits of your labor,
Right.
because you can't get up, or you can't move, or you can't go on vacation, or you have a bad knee. And listen, as you get older, these things are going to happen. But the more we take care of our body, right, the better it's going to be for all of us. And I think if you guys, I think right now, therapy, for example, it has become more and more of something that people accept and they, hey, my therapist is, my therapist that. But I think a physical therapist, I think, someone that does what you do, if you don't have someone in your network, if you're not a client of someone where you can learn from, I think this is something that you really have to tap into, because it's gonna be increasingly important, right, as we continue to go. So, and every time you have a live, and every time you have a guest, I listen in because I learn something.
Right.
Because you're so good about asking the right questions to the right people. There was something that even I remember there was a lady that you were talking to about holistic therapy, right? Or mental health, which is pretty cool.
That was Dr. Rimka. Yeah, she does a lot of great things with mental health. Yeah. I just try to educate. I try to use my platform when I do the IG lives to educate people. Yeah. And to just provide them with a tool so that they can make conscious decisions on what to do. And then a lot of the times, I also feel like in our community, in the Black and Brown Latino community, we don't have that. We don't have a good representation of that. We don't have people who sit down and explain things to us. We go to the doctors. And that was another thing why I branched out and started my own business, because I used to get patients or clients coming in, and when I sat down and explained to them certain things, the first thing that would come out of their mouth was, well, my doctor never said that, or my doctor never explained that to me. Had they taken the time out, maybe they would have been a little bit more compliant with what they were asking them to do. Because the reality of it, when I do things, a lot of the times, it's 70% of people just being compliant and then trusting me. If I could do all the things to you, but if you don't believe it's working, it's not working.
Well, my wife, like we're in this health journey, and she lives more than I do, right? Like she's hitting the gym. She's hitting the gym, like
I love that.
I alternate right between weightlifting and weight training and cardio. But for example, someone like you do all these things. Like you lift, you train, you stretch, you we could talk about peptides and you mentioned a few words before. I don't even get them words. You have to repeat these words because they were like long scientific words. Okay. But the fact of the matter is that if you're doing it yourself, right, and my wife asks you, hey, how old are you? Right, and you're doing it, and you look and feel like other people want to look and feel. Right. You trust that more.
Right. Right. It's like going to the dentist and his breath stink. You're gonna trust him to be in your mouth.
I say that all the time. Don't come give me eyebrow recommendations when your eyebrows are jacked up.
Right. Or it's like you go to your primary care and they're overweight, and then they tell you need to lose weight.
Yeah, so you gotta say, what are you doing, sir?
What are you doing?
So it's true. So and that's why it's about trust, because, and I talk about this even in the mortgage industry, right? Like when people don't know what they're doing and they want to buy a house, right? My job is to advise them and guide them to get to that destination much faster. Right. Because I've done it time and time again. I've been in a homeowner since I was 25 years old. I've done flips. I've done these things, right? So I'm able to educate people because I've done it, and I've been able to do it and repeat it and help other people. Same thing in your industry, right? Same thing with you. Trust, right? Trust. And I think it's about really understanding and having conversations. And I'm so glad that, we're young parents, like we're empty nesters basically, right? So the fact is that we're focusing now in our 40s before it's too late, because in the end, right, we might want to do this later on, but we might not have the same impact as if we start now.
Right. It's important. And I think that's a good point you made, because when I used to do personal training, I never made a client of mine do something that I couldn't do, or I never recommended something that I didn't take. Whether it be creatine or some type of supplement, and then I can give you my perspective and say, hey, I tried this protein, it was nasty, but if you might like it. Or I tried this for a couple of weeks, I didn't really see any benefit. Back then, fat burners were a big thing. So I tried this.
Like those like the pills. And
and so I tried it, it worked. I tried it, it works, but it's gonna give you the shits. It's like, so then I could educate you. And then you make a conscious decision. But I would never recommend something to you that I haven't tried. Even with peptides now, I did peptides back in the early 2000s. Yeah. But that was more because it was part of the bodybuilder community. It was very underground. People didn't know. Please, I don't know what I was injected in my body. I'm gonna be honest with you, but it was a peptide.
But Yeah.
So when it started to come back around,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. But a lot of people, if you talk to a lot of bodybuilders who've been doing this for a long time, that this is nothing new to them.
Yeah.
This is something that they've been doing for a long time. But it was just very cliche.
Yeah.
With everything else, science wasn't there to back it up.
Yeah.
Obviously, big pharma, if they can't make money off of it, then they're not gonna push it, and they're gonna tell you that it's not good, or there's restrictions, or it's not FDA approved.
Yeah.
So you make a great point, but that's something that I was always conscious of.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna make somebody do something that I can't do. Even when I was in physical therapy school, like when we have to go through certain exercises, our professors used to get mad because it's like, you can't do a proper squat, but you're supposed to tell somebody else to do
How to
it.
do it, yeah.
And and we watch them, like, let me see you do a squat. The person is like leaning forward, knees is caving in. It's like
back's gonna go out.
Yeah, but then how you supposed to show
your
patient how to do a perfect squat when you can't even do one? So that was like something that they were big on too. I mean, some people took heed, some people didn't. But all this stuff is things that I feel like I'm glad that we have this platform and that people can have awareness. I feel like people are being more aware. But I also feel too, with the way the world is right now, people are cutting back, right? They're trimming the fat. And the one thing I do want to say is, like, don't play with your health.
Yeah.
The one thing I find is, like, people think like something like this or other health, like, because it's not cheap, it's not covered under insurance. Anything preventative isn't going to be covered under insurance, right? But
which is it just tells you about the way the system is designed.
So anything preventative is not covered. So then people consider it a luxury, but it's not a luxury. Health is wealth. Like, how you gonna make? You want to make money? How you gonna make money if you're sick?
If you're sick, or even if you are making money and you can't, how you gonna enjoy it if you can't move around and go to the beach and do things with your kids?
Right. And so I tell people, invest in yourself. Even if you aren't sick or you don't have an injury or you don't have, like, it's just always good to be preventative. Now, you don't have to be married to me and I would love for you to be here all the time, but a lot of the times my clients will tell you I provide them with the tools and then they go. And then you see me when you can't, and then you see me when you can't figure it out. But at least you have a foundation and something to, okay, you tweak your back, you can do a couple of stretches, now you feel better, you don't have to run to the doctors, you don't have to run to the emergency room, you know how to take care of yourself, you have the autonomy to do that, and that's what I'm big on.
And then they have you as a resource, right? So you can recline, now you have a resource. Hey, what about, and that's the cool thing about it, is because obviously you come to her office and she helps you, right, with all these different techniques and these different things to help you with your health, but it's knowledge based. You can do some things on your own too, right? Some of these things. And it's so super important, man. Like we got you mentioned, you talked about creatine before. Listen, I used to take creatine in high school football.
Right.
I don't even know why I took it. You just take creatine and then you get bigger. Right?
Yeah.
But I know Karen is taking it and she has to take a lot of water because if not, she cramps the heck up. Right? Do you still do creatine?
Yeah, I do creatine, but see, I think it's 5 to 10 milligrams is good for your mental health.
5 milligrams. I take 5 milligrams.
Yeah, for your
so it helps you with your focus.
Yeah, so my doctor did say that. I told her it's okay for me to take it. Don't take it from HRT. She said this is great for your brain health.
Brain health. That's what they research is now. Creatine used to get a bad rap, but see, back then creatine used to have a bunch of fillers. And people used to get bloated.
That's what, like, for me when I'm
a lot of water retention.
A lot of water retention. Yeah.
So now it's a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
And you don't have to take as much of it, 5 milligrams, and people are taking it more for their brain health, brain function. They find that creatine actually helps with your brain function.
That's great.
So everyone should be taking it. It's a bad rap, but you should be taking about 5 milligrams.
These are all the things that, with all the information that's out there, right? We're learning about it, and listen, you talked about new peptides, right? It's better. I'm waiting for it still, but then there's certain people in my circle that now also had a consultation and now they're waiting for it. They've done it. And here's the thing, I'm not in the most in shape person in the world, and I'm working on my health and I'm trying to drop some weight. But I think that they saw some kind of change in me, like that I was that they said, oh, all right, Eric's recommending somebody.
I'm gonna
do it.
Right.
So because like I said, if I wasn't making some kind of change on my body, they're like, oh, what the hell is this guy?
Right.
What is this, right? So the cool thing is that now I have people in my family, in my circle, that I'm talking to, and as I'm learning, I'm passing on this information, and you never know, they could continue to become your clients as well, because it's really about investing in yourself,
Right.
right? Instead of going to out on a Friday night and spending a few $100s, right? Guess what? Take that and go to a therapy session
Right.
once a month, right? And focus on your health. So did you start? Let me ask you. Did you start? So did you go to college for this? Did you take
Yes.
certification? Okay, so you knew from the beginning this is the field
No.
you wanted to go. Okay. So tell me a little bit about
No
that.
way.
So tell me about how'd you get into this? I want to learn.
So I was in, okay, so health and wellness has always been a part of my life.
Okay.
Like hindsight, I should have been already doing this. It was like one of those things like, what took me so long,
Okay.
right? But, divine timing, it's not my time, it's God's time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the car business for maybe close to about 6-7 years. And I did that. I got that job because I was going to school at Montclair State University at night for nutrition. But I didn't have any health insurance. And my cousin worked at this dealership in Montclair, and they needed a receptionist. So she was like, hey, like come part-time, whatever. So I interviewed, and my boss at the time, really nice guy, Hungarian guy, who was like really. First, I thought he didn't like me because he was like super like.
It was just Hungarian.
Stone face.
Hungarian. That's it.
Egon was his name.
Egon. Uh-oh.
So he interviewed me. I was like, this man's not gonna call me back, but he called me back, and then he offered me part-time. So I said, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. The only reason why I need this job is I need health insurance. So I need a full-time position. He said, let me see what I can do. He called me back. He said, all right, we'll hire you full-time. So I was the receptionist there. I started there. I went from like appointment coordinator. I started working my way up while I was in school. I think I was there like a year, and I just started. I'm just a person that I don't know. I just can't stay in one space. Like I'm just curious, and I'll like keep learning different.
Yeah.
So service advisor, one of the service advisors there, he saw that I had interest in it because I kept asking questions, and I was like doing little things here and there, and said, you want to learn how to do this? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, you sure? And he had 2 daughters, really nice guy. He ended up passing away. And he said, all right, I'm going to show you how to get this money. That's exactly what he said to me. So he took me underneath his wing, and he taught me about sales, how to, do repair orders, all of that. So I was making money.
Yeah.
I didn't finish school.
I
said, I'm making good money.
I
got 401k, I got health insurance, I'm making good money.
Yeah.
I'm good. I don't need to go back to school.
Yeah.
So then I stopped going to school and I pursued that job full time. Then I had my daughter. I ended up getting pregnant. So at 25, and then I was like, well, I got a good job. Like I'm cool. Like, I mean, at that time I had great health insurance. I didn't come out of my pocket for anything when I popped that baby. I was like $0. I wish I had that health insurance now. So did that for a long time. I ended up getting fired, and in the car business. But at that time when I got fired, like I knew that I didn't want to do that anymore. Like it
has run its course.
It was. I just got tired of selling people things that they didn't need.
Yeah.
And it was just like overall, I'm like, I'm done. So when I got let go, I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? Because I know I don't want to do this no more. And so I got home, and I was talking about this on the live the other day, because I got home and I was nervous because a lot of people relied on me financially, and I was dating a gentleman at the time. He wasn't doing well financially, so I was trying to help him out because he had just lost his job, and then I have my daughter, and I'm a single mom. I got my parents, so I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, a lot of responsibility.
I was like, how am I gonna go home and like tell these people that I lost my job? Like, this is crazy. And I was like, I'm adamant with a lot of things. Like, even they were borderline thinking about letting me go. They suspended me. I did something stupid and they suspended me. And but I have been in that career for so long. I knew they would suspend you and let you sit at home. And then it would be like, okay, we're gonna let you go. They tell you to come in one day and then just tell you to go. So the manager at the time, I went up to her and said, listen, I know this came up. Been doing this for too long.
Mm.
I said, if you're gonna send me home, I said, just give me the call and let me know. I said, I got a lot of people who rely on me. I said, don't have me sitting at home for a week when I could be looking for another job.
Yeah.
I said, do me the favor and just call me and let me know right away. That same day, he called me that afternoon. And he was like, Tina, he was like,
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. I said, cool.
Yeah. On to the next.
And but I was like, you're not about to have me sit at home for a whole week when I got things that I need to take care of and handle. So then I was on unemployment. I went to unemployment and I was like, what? Back to say I got home and I told my mother and she was like, I said, Ma, I lost my job. She said, okay, good. Because that's not what you're supposed to do anyway. Now you can go back to school. And I was like, yeah. So she was like, it's okay. So I still wasn't thinking about going back to school, but I had gotten my personal trainer certification while I was working. And I just did it for me. I was like, because I like training people, I like working out. I was the weird girl at the dealership with the gallon of water, my meal plans, and working out. So I said, let me go train people. So a friend of the family's, he owns a gym out in Bloomfield, and I went to him. I told him I lost my job, and I said, listen, like, you don't mind if I train people, just to make extra cash because unemployment's not cutting it. He said, sure, T, I'm gonna give you 3 clients, and then you on your own. Figure it out, try to get more people. I said, okay. So I started with 3 people, and in that journey, I knew what I did, talking about doing things for yourself, right? Like, and then other people see it. So on my fitness journey, I knew if I was squatting and I had limited ankle mobility, what stretches I would do, or if my back hurt after squatting, what I would do to make me feel better, what worked for me. So I was training people. They were like, oh, T, every time I squat, my back hurts, or I could never do lunges because I got real bad knee pain. So, okay, let's try this first, and then we'll get you to do the exercise. So people started enjoying that part of the training than the actual workout itself because they were paying free. Yeah. And so if I didn't do it, they would ask for it. So then someone saw me in the gym, and he's like, you should go to school for physical therapy. In essence, that's what you do. And I was like, I didn't know what physical therapy was because I never got injured. Yeah. So I said, what is that? So I started researching it, and then I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do this. So then I was talking to a friend of mine at the time, and she said, I think unemployment will pay for you to go back to school. And I was like, really? She said, yeah, you might want to go ask. So they were running this program that if you decided to take a certification or go back to school for extra credits, they would give you a 2-year extension on unemployment. There was people when I went into unemployment that were going for their doctorates.
So while you were really?
Yeah, on unemployment.
So while you were getting your physical therapy license, you were getting paid for unemployment because they wanted you to continue to focus
for
on
the first 2 years. The last year it expired, so I had to figure out how I was going to make.
So how does that work for anybody that wants to get into the physical therapy world, right? So like, is it a 4-year degree like anything else?
So it's a 4-year, 4 to 5, depending on which schools you go to. Yeah. So mine, I'm a physical therapist assistant, so mine was a 2.5 year. Okay. The difference between me and the doctor of physical therapy is he does the evaluation and he does the discharge. So the way I explain it to people is like a physician's assistant. Yeah, yeah. So you don't, a 9 out of 10 when you go to the doctors, you're seeing a nurse practitioner. Or
you see the doctor for a minute at the end.
Right. So he either does the eval or he'll discharge you. So it's the same thing. So pretty much for the remainder of your treatment, you're with me. But the doctor just does the initial eval and says, hey, Tina, this is what I diagnosed them with. And then I do the treatment plan. And then when I feel like you're ready, I say, hey, so-and-so met all their criteria. They met all their marks. I think they're ready for discharge. He comes back in. He does some testing on you. And he said, you're clear. You can go. So pretty much that's how that works. Yeah. So that, if you want to get, I tell people, if you want to get the best return on your investment, is a PTA. Because I pay no money. And then I came out making money.
So let me ask you this, right? So right now, is there like, because we were talking about this too, like with 4-year degree colleges or these trades, electrician, plumber, from a physical therapy perspective, like a trade, for physical therapy, is there a need? Is there a surplus? Do you think that is an industry that's growing? What's going on in that field right now?
So it's like a double-edged sword, because I remember I was taking this cert, and the kid I was stretching, I was in Texas stretching kids getting ready for the combine. Okay. And his sister was in PT, and the kid looked at me. He said, "Oh, you do?" I said, "No, I do PT." He said, "Oh, that's a dying profession." So I said, so he goes, "Yeah, my sister's in it, but it's a dying profession." And I was like, maybe he's right. Because at first I got offended, and then I had to think about it. And I was like, So the thing with PT is the way the system is, the way the medical system is, as far as like insurance, it has watered down what it used to be. So, meaning when you go into your traditional physical therapy place, they have to treat patients every 15 to 20 minutes in order to make ends meet. Based on your insurance, everybody's insurance is different. What the insurance pays out is different.
Got it.
So then you get this rotation, this hamster wheel of patients, and you have to do that. So if you look at it, and the way I explain to people, because my business is cash based, and that's where a lot of these PTs are starting to do more cash based, because you do one on one. But I tell people, okay, you did PT for 2 months, add up the hours your therapist spends hands on. Maybe every time you went in, 5-8 minutes they touched you, and then you have to go 3 times a week, and then you have to pay a copay. So what's your copay?
So a lot of people don't understand the value in it, right? Because value is not, it's not the cost of it. So like if you're just a number when you go into these things with you, right? They're coming in, they see you're spending time with them. Everybody's different. You're educating them. So I see it. I think so. So do you think? Let me ask you this now. Do you think it's evolving? Do you think it's a dying profession? Do you think it's becoming a niche profession? What's your thought
I think
process?
you can make it what you want. I think it could be niche.
Yeah.
I think in order for you to be lucrative, you have to have a niche, and then you have to be more cash based or out of network in order for you. Because what happens is a lot of these kids who are going to school and they're getting their doctorates, they're not making the money that they should be making because of the insurance companies. So like I had a friend, we were playing with the idea of me accepting insurance, and she, her husband works at Jersey City College, and so they have great benefits, right? They got state insurance, and she's like, "We got the best insurance." I put that claim in. They wanted to pay me $34.
Yeah.
For a whole hour.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And people get mad at me. I said, I invested in myself. My certifications are not cheap. I went to school, and you want to tell me my time is $34 for an hour, and I did one-on-one with this person? No. And it's not even, the people who make those decisions are not even healthcare providers. They don't have licenses. They're not medical practitioners. It's just somebody sitting behind a desk that's deciding what your worth is and what they feel like that service is worth. And so she was like, "Tia, I'm so sorry." I mean, she went up the bat for me. She called the insurance company. They were like, "That's the cap. That's what we're going to pay.
That's crazy.
$34. I said, $34. So that's why a lot of these PT places are built the way they are. Because for every $34 every time, and you don't get paid right away.
They want to see 10 people in that hour.
Right. And you don't get paid right away. Now, we submit it to your insurance. I might not get paid to 60, 90 days.
That's insane.
For $34.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think, but that's the thing and I think that the care and the knowledge that you bestow upon all your clients, that's one of the differentiators about what you do. Right. So let me ask you this, right? So do you have like a recent story of someone that you've helped that you're really proud of, that you could think of off bat, right? Just, it could be a client that you help for a certain amount of time or lifelong client, but is there someone that you'd be like, "Wow, I'm really proud"? Because a lot of times we question what we do, right? But it's every once in a while, it's like, we just came from a closing and we helped somebody that actually just found me on TikTok. Found me on TikTok, and I just attended her closing, right?
Wow.
And then those are the things that like when I'm doing these lives, right? I'm like, man, who's watching here? A lot of people watching. What am I supposed to be doing this? But when I go and I help change somebody's life, that's what keeps me going.
Right.
So do you have one of those examples, recent examples?
I have a lot of them. I have, okay, I'll give you two. So one was a client of mine, and I think I did an IG live where I did do an IG live with them. They're from Philly. So They're firefighters, husband and wife, very active. And the wife had a stroke. And she messaged me like a month or two after her stroke. She was like, "Hey, is this something you could help me with?" She explained to me her situation, and I said, I need to look at you. I need to see you first to see. And in the beginning was disheartening because I saw this active person who, like, these two people take care of their body. They do all the things. And to see her to struggle to walk, to come through the door, to see her deficits, and just not her, right? So I'm like, it broke my heart because I was just like, I know what this person was before this traumatic incident. And she's a fighter too. So with that being said, I evaluated her. I said, yeah, I can help you, but you have to come like once or twice a week. Like, you have to be committed. So she was like, okay, like, because they live in Philly, so almost an hour and a half ride to come to me. And I said, and I'm not gonna charge you.
Wow.
This is a labor of love. Like, I just want you to get better. So she said, okay. So she came.
So it was worth it for her to come up here an hour and a half every day.
Right.
About twice a week, rather.
And so she came, and I mean, little by little, she started getting, and she did other things too, because she was, using all her resources. Me, she was doing OT, finding stuff up by her, and I would, give her things to do at home when she wasn't there. So now she's like back to work full. She has no restrictions. Yeah. So that was a good one.
And let me ask you, so from the time that you originally met her, like when she had this traumatic experience to the time that she's up, like what's that duration? Like, how long was that process?
It was about 6 months, 6 to 7 months. Yeah.
And she totally transformed herself.
And she totally transformed. Like, she's back to work. You would never know. Like, people thought she was going to be limited when she got back to work. There were certain things that she wouldn't be able to do. And she was like, no, like, I'm not going to let this define. But also, I can't take all the credit because she's a fighter. She's like, no, I'm going to do this.
So
like,
her willpower, coupled with your guidance and your expertise, allowed her to become her old self again in 6 months.
Yeah,
that's so dope.
So those are the before and afters are always what keeps me going. Things like that, and not even on a mentor. I remember I had one client. This was like very crazy. So I treated her husband like a month before. I didn't know it was her husband at the time. And the guy and I are having conversations about that. She comes in to see the appointment come through. That day, she comes in like 10 minutes late. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I couldn't find parking. She's on 10. It's okay, calm down. It's okay. Like, and I'm like, it's all right. And she's like, oh, I don't know. She's like, I don't even know why I'm here. My husband booked the appointment. I don't know how you're going to help me. What is it that you do? I don't even know what. She had no idea.
He was just booked to be like, yo, go see her.
Yeah. So and I said, oh, well, do you have any injuries? Do you have like things like that? She was like, oh. And she's like, well, I don't know. She's like, I'm having trouble losing weight. And can you help me with that? Like, she was doing the Peloton and all the things. And then all of a sudden, she just broke down crying. And I said, oh my God, she said, I'm so sorry. She said, my husband just left me. And you're the first human that I'm seeing. Since then. It was that day it happened. Yeah. So I was like, oh my God. So I hugged her. I said, listen, I'm so sorry. She's like, I apologize. So I'm working on her, and she's telling me that she's having issues with, losing weight. And one of the reasons why her husband at the time said that he was leaving her was because of her weight. And she tried doing the Peloton. She was on a detox. So she was juicing, and nothing was working. And she said she wasn't that far off to the weight that she was when they had gotten married. And so I said, okay. So she said, I don't know, like, I'm like doing it. Like, I wake up and I'm very competitive, and she's like, every day I'm on this thing. So I said, have you ever had your hormones checked? It sounds like you have a hormonal issue. She said, no one's ever said that to me. I said, you might want to go get your hormones checked. I said, if you're doing all the things like you say you're doing, like, usually that's a hormonal issue. So she was like, okay. So she goes. A month later, she comes in for the appointment. She had already lost 10 pounds. Wow. And that's just me educating.
Educated.
It's just not necessarily I did to her.
And nobody in all those years
had
never mentioned that.
And she was always back in and out the doctors about her weight and things
Yeah.
like that. And I said, check your hormones, and they said her cortisone levels were like through the roof.
So let me ask you. So people want to check their hormones. What do they do? They gotta go do a blood panel. Like
Yes.
what is it they do? Okay.
Yeah, you can go to your primary, but you have to request it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not covered. Again,
It's not covered through insurance.
Insurance doesn't cover preventative.
Yeah.
So if you want to test to see if you're a candidate for cancer, it's not covered.
Uh-huh.
If you want to do a preventative mammogram, it's not covered, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you want to check to see if you have the gene for cancer cells, that's not covered.
And I think that's so important because everybody's biological makeup is different, right?
Right.
So that I know I've heard things like gene testing and food sensitivity and all these kinds of things. And with technology, the more you know about your body, the more you know about what foods to stay away from, what to do. And that's exactly what I'm trying to learn about myself. Is I want to learn about my body. I've done the panels and actually someone told me about the gene test. Have you heard of that? A gene test? So like a genes to see like also like just to kind of look at your levels or whatever. I gotta look more into it.
You're gonna see what you're pre-exposed to. So like if you have different, so there's a bunch of different ones, but like if you have a history of cancer or things like that, so it sees what you have, the pre-exposure to get, so you can
start with the preventative
maintenance for it, because you know that there's a possibility that you have this genetic gene to get these things. And then they also can tell you what the probability is, like how high it is in you, because you can have it, but it could be very low. So it'll never come to pass. But then you can have it and it can be extremely high and it's just sitting dormant until something happens one day, and then it gets put to the forefront.
But that's why sometimes people look at there's some people that I know that they don't even work out and they always look like jacked, right? And then you say there's those genes, and there's some truth
genetics,
to that. There's some truth to that. There's genetics. There's some things that their body composition, whether they have fast metabolism or their hormone levels are right. Like I'm on TRT and I have lower testosterone, and it didn't really affect my energy. But I know that when I maximize that, then everything else will start working better to achieve the goals that I want to achieve. Like one of the things that last year, what I did was this thing. Shout out to Jesse Eisler. Is like he's a really cool guy that he came up with something called the Big Ass Calendar, and I live by it.
Oh, I've heard of that. Yes.
So it's this calendar. You plan out your year, right? You map out your year, and I like that because you're seeing your year from a bird's eye view. But one of the things that within that year is you got to pick one thing that's your masogi.
You did.
And that's
we talked about this. Yes.
It's a Japanese term, right? So I went ahead and I traveled around the country for 30 days in an RV last year. And this year, my masogi is my health. I'm doing everything possible. I'm going to learn as much as I can about my body, because even if I want to transform my lifestyle. It might take longer for me to achieve the goals that I want to achieve, but I want to build the foundations of my lifestyle to get there and maintain that until I pass away, right? So it's cool that we're having this conversation because it's near and dear to my heart. This is something that both my wife and I are on this journey, this health journey, right? Like she's going to, be working out consistently. She just started doing the HRT. She started doing creatine, and she's learning about these things.
Right.
Now, right, everybody's best friend these days is ChatGPT, right? And they might spit some things out, but it's good to talk to someone like you that has done it, because everybody's different. ChatGPT doesn't know your makeup, doesn't know, right? Like they're still learning about you. So the cool thing is that you know what questions to ask, you know how to help the people in the right way.
Right.
So, all right. So let me ask you about your specific routine, because you do this. Like, do you work out in the morning? Or do you work out at night?
So I used to work out in the morning.
In the morning. All right.
I used to be like a 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And then
no more.
I think with age I can't get out of bed at 4 a.m. So now I do it mainly towards the evening. Mid-afternoon too. So I'll do it. My workouts only take about an hour.
Yeah.
So if I have an hour break in between here, my gym is across the street.
Oh, okay.
So I run across the street and then I'll get my workout. Yeah. And then I also find, and I learned this when I was doing powerlifting too. When I work out later in the afternoon or towards the evening, I get more meals in, so my strength is a lot better. When I do it in the morning faster, I'm not as strong. My lips aren't as great. They're good, but they could be. saw the difference as
Yeah.
when you consuming meals and then you go work out because you're using that energy, and so your workouts are better. You lift heavier.
Yeah.
The lifts are a lot smoother. You're not like as tired. The pump is not that bad. So yeah.
But you know what? The thing is too, like the things that you're saying is that you're in tune with your body, right? I ain't up front. I don't think I've ever. I'm more in tune with my body now than I've ever been. But I feel like I just whatever. I got up. I've never really felt like Karen's very in tune, and you're in tune. Like, oh, I feel better in the afternoon after I eat. Like a lot of times I don't even think about that.
Right.
Now you're really looking at, okay, what are some of the slight adjustments that I can do in my day to maximize my efficiency, right? That's something I never really thought about, honestly. You talked about sleep. I feel the same way. Like I used to wake up at 5 in the morning every day. 4 in the morning, I used to wake up, but I used to have an alarm at 4. But I used to wake up between 5 and 5:30 without an alarm. But it's getting more and more difficult as I get older. And I have the Aura Ring, which is great because it tracks. I use this to track my sleep and my recovery. It tells me what my REM sleep is, like what my efficiency is, and I can tell, right? So if I have a cocktail late at night, I'm not gonna sleep as good, right? And I'm like, okay, what can cause your sleep to be a little off balance? If you eat late at night, right? You smoke. I went to a cigar shop yesterday. I had a cigar. My recovery wasn't as good because I had a lit cigar. So now I know I try to avoid doing those things because I'm trying to get a good sleep so I can have enough energy throughout the rest of the day.
Right.
Do you track your sleep at all? Do you do these things?
I haven't tracked my sleep. I haven't tracked my sleep, and I don't. People come to me a lot of the time and they weigh themselves.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't weigh myself either. Yeah. For me, it's just because maybe I've been doing it for a long time. I just look in the mirror.
You just know.
And I know what I need to cut back on.
Yeah.
Where I need to lock in a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that's just me knowing my body, after years. But I never really was big on the scale because the scale could be deceiving when you get hung up on it. It's like,
tell me about it.
You can, but you have different things. So you can maintain the weight, right? Like let's say the scale's not moving.
Yeah.
But you gained muscle.
Yeah.
And you lost inches.
Yeah.
But the scale says you weigh the same. But your clothes fit different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the important part. How do you feel? How do you look? No matter that the scale, because 150, somebody could weigh 150 pounds and be big, and be 150 pounds and be all muscle.
Yeah.
It's the same scale, same number.
And that's so I started I have a group chat, and we started a weight loss contest. We started at the beginning of the year, and we do it through Memorial Day. And we weigh ourselves every Monday. And if we go up from the prior week, we got to order a $20 pop, right? Okay. So I think we're up to like $900 or whatever, like a pop. And now that it's me, like I just keep on throwing that $20. I ain't gonna lie, but I will say this, right? Because I'm lifting more, and I do feel my body's slowly but surely is changing. So I do get discouraged. I have gotten discouraged when I step on that weight scale because I'm like, how come I'm not losing the weight? So I even hit Vinny. And we could talk about peptides in a minute. What time are we? What we got? Oh, we got 3:54. We're rocking and rolling. We're almost done here. So I know that muscle weighs more than fat, right? So, but I texted Vinny too. I'm like, Vinny, I'm not dropping weight. And he was like, I was trying to do intermittent fasting, right? And it really wasn't working for me. Like I would wake up, and then I try to do like a 1 meal a day kind of thing. And then he goes, Eric, like if you're lifting, you gotta have more meals and have more protein, right? So, that's something I've never done. And in tracking protein, like my protein intake, it's hard. Like you gotta meal prep, you gotta prepare, you gotta have protein shakes, like to get for my mass, the amount of protein that I have to have.
Consume a day,
Yo, it's not easy, right? So like now, like what I do is before I work out, I have a protein shake and an apple. I guess the apple's the sugar for the day.
Right.
Then after the workout, it's a protein shake and I'm having a bagel, a medium bagel. I guess that's my carbs for the day.
Well, you're fueling the muscle with the carbs, so you're doing both.
So
after you work out, there's an open window. So whatever you eat, like sugar wise, it shuttles into the muscle and it doesn't convert it to fat. That's why he's asking.
That's okay. Makes sense.
And then the apple is simple sugar. So it's almost like if you're taking energy drink because that's also gonna fuel you for the workout.
See, I was just doing it. I should have asked, right? Because that's good information.
Yeah.
Then I have to have 4 egg whites and either 1 or 2 eggs. That's my third meal. Then my fourth meal is supposed to be protein and greens,
Mm-hmm.
and then at night, like if I'm so hungry, it's like a Greek yogurt or something,
Yeah.
right? And I've been doing that, and I will tell you this, like I feel more powerful when I'm in the gym. I feel more energetic. The weight ain't coming off still, but I'm still not on the peptide. I'm still waiting for it. It looks like they did a ID verification on Friday, so I should be getting it hopefully this week. So you look at me now, guys. Right? Maybe in 2 months, see if I change. Right? But I'm really focused on the foundation. So I'm not getting hung up. Listen, I care about the weight. I want to drop the weight, but in me learning about lifestyle and what to do and having relationships like you and I have, where I can just ask you questions and you connect me to different people. That's what it's about, right? It's about having that support system, right? Mm-hmm. What are some of those? Let me ask you rapid fire because we're almost done. What are one of the most common injuries that you see when people come to you?
Oh, lower back and shoulder.
Lower back and shoulder. What's the cause of that?
Herniated disc. Usually it's herniated disc is repetitive motion, and it's usually any injury, I should say, is usually when the tissue, and tissue I mean muscle, bone. It could be bone. Bone is still considered some type of tissue. Ligament tendons cannot handle the load or the force brought upon it. So usually it's like you're doing an awkward movement that you haven't trained before, or your body's not necessarily strong in, and you go do a quick.
Yeah.
And so that's how the injury happens. Okay. Because that tissue has never been prepped in that particular movement or range of motion. So usually that's how we end up with those injuries. So lower back a lot of the times is people not bracing. It's never a cool story. They're picking something stupid off the floor. I just had a client the other day. It was funny because I follow him on social media. And he's been coming to me for a minute, but he only comes to me when he's hurt. Yeah. So lately I've been watching his social media, and he's on jet skis doing tricks.
He's like, I'm going to see him soon.
And he's on motorcycles, doing all types of stuff. Yeah. I'm waiting for the phone call. I didn't get one. Yeah. Then we have the snowstorm. Yeah. He comes in, I need to see you, T. My back is killing me, blah, blah, blah. He comes in, I said, what happened? So what happened? He was like, oh, man. I said, what, jet skiing? Motorcycle? He started laughing. He said, oh, you've been watching me? I said, yeah. He goes, no, shoveling. It's never a cool story.
Yo, I'm pretty sure this winter there's a lot of people that happened to because it's crazy.
I was like, dang, you don't even got a cool story for me? That you was out on the jet ski and the shit flipped over? Like, you just did some regular stuff.
The regular stuff. That's what gets you. That's what gets you. The regular stuff gets you. So what's one? All right. So if you can lead everybody that's here, right? And I want to clip some of this stuff. This is good stuff. Like, what's a daily must do, right? Like for people to help with the preventative maintenance. What is the one thing that people can do at home, right, by themselves to help them with whether it's stretching, mobility, or meditation, whatever? Like, what do you recommend? Breathe.
Breath work.
Okay.
It's free.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Diaphragmatic breathing. So I do breath work and I teach diaphragmatic breathing to recovering addicts.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And one of the reasons why I do that is because when you breathe from your stomach, your diaphragm, you stimulate something called the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is responsible for regulating your nervous system. So it takes you out of that fight or flight response. So I encourage everybody to learn how to incorporate some type of breath work, especially you don't want to start your morning in chaos. So if you take 5 minutes before you get out of the bed to breathe properly, then you're going to regulate your nervous system, and that should set the tone. And there's science behind it that says it helps with your blood pressure, helps with your heart rate, it has a lot of health benefits, and it doesn't cost you anything. It's something that you can do on a
diaphragmatic breath exercises.
Yeah, diaphragmatic breathing. And basically what it is that you breathe through your belly. So what happens is you ever watch a baby breathe when they're sleeping, their belly moves up and down, you see their little belly go up and down. That's how we're intended to breathe throughout life. But what happens is life takes over and we become chest breathers and we breathe from here. These are secondary respiratory muscles. You have your lung and you have your diaphragm, and that's where you should be breathing through your belly. This is second. And when you breathe through your chest, right, what does that look like?
You're hyperventilating.
Right?
Yeah,
and
having anxiety, panic attack.
Right, and And usually that sends a message to your brain that you're in danger. So usually you're in flight or flight. If something traumatic is happening to you, automatically you're gonna start to inhale, exhale. And so now, even though something traumatic is not happening to you, you're still sending the signal to your brain that you're not in a safe space.
Interesting.
So it also can cloud your judgment. The reason why I do it with recovering addicts is because a lot of them are aggy, they're detoxing.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily make the best decisions, right?
Yeah.
So when you're in fight or flight, your body's job and your brain's job is to keep you alive by any means necessary. So you might not make the best choices at that moment. So if you take time to breathe and you take a breathe, you can make clearer, sounder decisions on what you're doing or sounding.
I love that.
So breathing, I would recommend. It's cheap. I mean, I tell people, I joke with my guys, when I do the recovering addict, because some of them, they fight me on it, and then some of them will comply, and they'll be like, oh, I said, if you feel lightheaded, you did it right. So then they'll be like, oh, I feel a little lightheaded, and I'll tell them, good. And I said, I know something else that makes you lightheaded too. I said, but this is better for you. Too. This is better for you.
You like when you feel lightheaded, yeah.
So, it's something good to incorporate on a daily basis. So I tell everybody, because I get a lot of people, we call it in the medical field psychosomatic, meaning you may come in here saying you're hurting and your body hurts and your neck, your shoulder. And those are the people that come in and the injury is never in the same place all the time. They might come to me 1 week, it's in their neck, then it's in their back, then it's in their knee, so it's a global thing, right? It's like basically they say all over hurts. A lot of the time that has to do with the mental component, and it could be either stress, it could be trauma, and so a lot of those people, what you'll find is that they don't know how to relax. My type A people, when I stretch people, it's a dance. They teach you it's a flow, right? So you can't be stiff and you can't fight me, because you could be putting yourself at risk, at injury, me and you. Because if I go pull you and you're resisting me and something pops, that's a recipe for disaster. But my type A people will just go tense up, or they're not used to somebody touching them, or I'm moving them and automatically I'm going this way and they want to help me and they throw their leg over. I'm like, no, I got this. And those are people who don't know how to calm down.
Those are defense mechanisms,
and relax.
Those are cues, right? That kind of trigger something in their mindset to protect themselves or defend themselves. Guarding, and it's great because we're gonna wrap up with this, and I want you to just let everybody know where to find you. So I'm not a big hard book cover read. Like I do audiobooks. I ain't even gonna lie. I start a lot of audiobooks and I get halfway through them. I don't remember the last time I finished a whole audiobook. I ain't gonna front, but because I do feel like I get the gist of what the book's trying to say halfway through, right? But right now I started buying books, and it's helping me sleep at night too when I'm sleeping. If I read some pages, and in the coaching community that I'm in my profession, we have a book club, and there's this book right now called The Coffee Bean, right? And you talk about mindset, and basically it's about just to paraphrase it, you have boiling water is one of the hardest conditions. You talk about the mindset, people like being defensive. Boiling water is one of the hardest conditions that could be out there, right? Environments. And depending on what you put in the water, it reacts to it differently. If you put a carrot into a water, right, it's going to soften, right? And there's people in this world, right, that soften into life is hard, right? And they're gonna soften, they're gonna retreat, they're not gonna want to come out, right? Then there's another. You put an egg in the water and it hardens. You have a hard-boiled egg now. Now they're gonna be really hard and defensive and angry and a hard shell, right? But then they're saying, well, we should learn to become coffee beans, because if you put a coffee bean in hot water, right? With time, it turns the environment into coffee. So the coffee bean doesn't react to the environment; it changes the environment that we're in, right? So the coffee bean is basically saying whatever environment that we're in, it's how you react to it, and how you not how you react to it, how you influence it, because you can change the environment. And you've seen that, like Tina, you go into a room, and obviously you have this knowledge about you, and and the fact that even you look good, you have a confidence about you. You can talk about what you want to talk about with confidence and with authority. And there's some people that walk into a room and they affect the whole entire their environment. And it's because
They set the tone.
they set the tone and they affect you. And you could be upset, but if somebody comes in and they sees that, they can influence you, so that way they can kind of bring you down. And those are the leaders, those are the people that I really admire, is the people that change. And I'm trying to learn. Listen, I sometimes soften, I sometimes harden, but I want to continue to learn how to be a coffee bean. And this is one of the things that I really want to do in these platforms, is highlight people like you and businesses like you, because all it takes is for us to impact one person. Right? Like, I'm not doing this because I do lives of my own, and I help people. Like I just told you, I just help a family that found me on TikTok, but I want to highlight people that are inspiring and that can help others. And all it does is for us to help one person, and we've done our job. So with that, I really wanted to thank you for the time that you've given us. You're a wealth of knowledge. I love your energy. And what can you tell everybody where they can find your social media, website? Where's your office located?
So my office is located in 16 Park Avenue in Rutherford, New Jersey. You can find me at the StretchBoss on IG, at the StretchBoss on Facebook. My website is www.thestretchboss.com. So that's it.
Guys,
and I got a TikTok too. I think it's the StretchBoss.
The Stretch.
You don't want to go on there. That's just selfies.
Guys, follow her. She's a wealth of knowledge. If you guys are in the Tri-State area, look, we had somebody from Philly to come up and she transformed her life, right, in 6 months. Check her out. Come for a consultation. It's you get what you pay for, right? You might go to your own physical therapist or a chiropractor. You're in and out. You're just a number. Over here, I guarantee you that if you come and you spend an hour with Tina, you're going to walk away more enriched, right? More educated, so you can apply some of these things to your family. Not only that, like I talked to you about peptides,
right?
And one conversation into another, and I'm impacting other people in my life because of what I learned. Right. So I can't wait to continue taking this journey with you guys. Reach out. I'm gonna make sure that we tag you. Tina, yes. Thank you for everything. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Keep on killing it.
Yes, thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. All right. I think Karen was locked out.
Oh, sorry, Karen.
I was like, you see locked out?
Lito, sorry.
I was waiting for you to knock the door.
I didn't want to knock.
No, I was waiting for you to knock because I was like, she I was thinking about this whole time.
Sorry.
Were you watching this on the live though?
No.
But then I was like, maybe
I was listening to you.
Then I was like, maybe she's watching. But I was like, I'm listening to see if she's gonna knock. Then I was like,
I didn't want to knock and interrupt.
no, I wasn't gonna come and open the door.
I didn't want to do that. I was like, that's gonna be so rude. Yeah, but I was like, coño.
Yo, but I swear to God, I was like, is she in the bathroom? She's talking to her wife. That was really good, Tina. You have a lot of information that people need to hear.
Yes, you're very knowledgeable.
When you left, she was talking. Man, what were you talking about? I was like, oh man, Karen would like this.
I heard about the breathing.
Breathing.
I heard you.
Yes.
Okay, good.
So I do that breathing.
You do breathe?
Yeah. So especially, I guess for us moms, we tend to do those breathings that are good for our eyes.